Okay, now this last one is a really, really interesting name. Not one that I've heard before, but his credentials and where he's worked are very, very interesting.
Nothing inspires the human spirit like what we do. The desire to explore strange new worlds, to seek out new discoveries, unites us in a singular manner.
Okay, so let's go real quick because the information's just come in that we've got four named witnesses that are going to be giving evidence at the congressional hearings on the 13th of November in only what, 4 days' time, 3.5, 4-ish days' time, depending on where you are in the world. Here are the four names, and this is what we know about them. So first up is Michael Shellenberger. We know Michael because recently he was in the press talking about Immaculate Constellation. Now, he is an award-winning journalist, best-selling author. He wrote Apocalypse Never and some other bits and pieces, but we really know of him more recently in terms of the UFO subject, UAP subject, because he broke this story about Immaculate Constellation. He had an anonymous source that went public and talked about this reverse engineering or crash recovery, shall we say, crash recovery program, which was published in a number of different publications. One of them, for example, News Nation. And I'll read just the first couple of sentences. So the leaked whistleblower report says the Pentagon is operating a secret UFO retrieval program called Immaculate Constellation. According to independent journalist Michael Shellenberger, the report revealed that for the first time the name of the alleged UAP program, stating that the executive branch has been managing UAP issues without congressional knowledge or oversight, possibly for decades. And then it goes on to say, Suzanne Goff says it's not true, obviously. So next up is a name that we're very familiar with, Lou Elizondo. Lou is a former US Army counterintelligence special agent and former director of the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program, AATIP, a secretive Pentagon program that studied UFOs and UAP. His involvement in the field of UFO research has significantly shaped public discourse on the subject in recent years. Heavily publicized in the New York Times article in 2017 that really kicked off a lot of this. Heavily connected with people like Chris Mellon. So that's kind of to be expected. However, this is going to be the first time that we get him on oath with the hand up saying, this is what I know and this is the truth. Punishable by conviction and prison, I understand. So this is really good to get him on the record. We've got an idea of what he's going to say, I think, because obviously he had a book out and he's done a few TV shows and stuff, so podcasts and what have you. So we've got a good understanding of what he's going to say, but there might be some more, especially when he's in Congress. So that's pretty good. So next up is Rear Admiral Tim Gallaudet. Now, we've seen him before. He's talked a fair bit on TV shows. He's currently in the latest Beyond UFOs and the Unknown, which is out on MGM+. Go check it out. He was certainly in the first one or two episodes talking about having received an email talking about the Tic Tac, talking about it being a safety of flight issue. Now, who is he? He's a retired US Navy officer, oceanographer, who's held significant roles in both the Navy and sort of civilian capacities, particularly related to oceanic and atmospheric science. He served 32 years in the US Navy, specializing in oceanography, held various leadership positions, including commander of the Navy's Meteorology and Oceanography Command. So a really, really high-level person to talk about this, and perhaps there's more that he hasn't spoken about publicly that he's going to discuss at the hearing. But again, it will be really good to get him under oath and on the record. Okay, now this last one is a really, really interesting name, not one that I've heard before, but his credentials and where he's worked are very, very interesting. Michael Gold is a former NASA Associate Administrator for the Office of International and Interagency Relations. He was responsible for providing strategic direction to the Office of General Counsel and supporting NASA's LEO commercialization efforts. So prior to joining NASA, he was Vice President of Civil Space at NACSCA, or NASA, I can't pronounce that, Technologies. He was also General Counsel for the company Radiant Solutions in their business unit. Additionally, he spent 13 years, and this is interesting, at Bigelow Aerospace, where he established the company's Washington office, and he oversaw launches of its Genesis 1, Genesis 2 spacecrafts. He received an award from NASA for his contributions to Bigelow's expandable activity. He is an award-winning, highly credentialed NASA, Bigelow Aerospace, Associate Administrator at NASA. I mean, this is top level. We haven't really heard much about him in the past, certainly not in the UAP sphere bracket. I don't know. So it's going to be really interesting to see what he says. This is all I could really find from him talking about space and the exciting things that are out there.
Nothing, and I mean nothing, brings humanity together like space exploration and development. excitement. Nothing inspires the human spirit like what we do. The desire to explore strange new worlds, to seek out new discoveries, unites us in a singular manner. Therefore, whatever challenges the world may face, let space be the torch that lights up the night, brings us together, and pushes back against the darkness with hope and optimism for a better future. Our journey is to the moon and Mars, but by coming together as a global space community, our destination can be peace and prosperity. Thank you so much, and let's continue to go boldly.
So these are all the names that we've got at the moment of people that are going to be attending that hearing to give evidence. Now, I did reach out to, I think, Jessica Collins, who's the communications director for the House Committee on Oversight and Accountability for the chairman, James Comer. So she is the communications director for him. I understand that he's the chairman. At that time, when I contacted her today at 3 p.m. UK time, it's now sort of 7-ish, 7:30 p.m. UK time. There were no names. She wasn't able to provide any names, but said that might be out later in the day. They have literally just come out, and I've just done a deep dive as quick as I can do anyway, in time to put this out tonight, into who those people are. Now, I know 3 of them. It was just Mike Gold, who I didn't really know. So that's it. They're the names that we've got: Lou Elizondo, Mike Shellenberger, Michael Gold, and Tim Gallaudet. Some really heavy hitters. I don't know much about Michael Gold. The fact that he worked at Bigler Aerospace and is so high up and credentialed in NASA, he's going to be a real dark horse in this. I'm fascinated to see what he's going to say and what we're going to learn about. We kind of know what the other guys are going to say, I think, unless there's some new information, but certainly to put that on record will be great. Michael Shellenberger, we know what he's put out publicly. We know that his source is confidential, a whistleblower, essentially. We don't know who that person is. We know that they've provided a report to Congress, so hopefully Michael Shellenberger can add a bit more context to that publicly that we can hear about the crash retrieval program, hinted at being called Immaculate Consolation. That's an interesting one as well. So that should be what this is going to be about, hopefully, and we'll get a bit more from the other guys on the record, under oath. So yeah, exciting times. I'll see you in a few days' time. More to talk about. If I get anything else, I'll post it on the UAP Files Instagram account, UAP_files, and on our Twitter page and all the other socials. We'll get it out there. Anything I learn, anything I find out from any sources that I might have, as good as they may be. Again, a lot of this is rumor mill at the moment because we just don't know, and there's probably a ton of misinformation out there that's getting thrown in the mix as well. But they're the names. They're confirmed. 13th of November. UAP hearing, chaired by Nancy Mace. That's it. See you on the next one, guys. Take care of yourselves.